Welcome to Grace for All with Jamie Engelhardt.
Welcome to Grace for All. I'm your host, Jamie Engelhardt. We thank you for tuning in on whatever platform you find us on. Especially if you have not, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. But you also can watch this on the GAN network, First TV, as well as Sunlight TV. And so, man, we're always honored to have you with us. We have some special guests here today. I always like to, especially every year when I have my conference in May every year here in the Louisville area, as well as in our Leaders Summit, we always have people in town that we love, and always like to be able to introduce them to our audience. And this is very good friends of mine from the LA area. They are out in California, and they have not escaped LA. They are still there. Someone said they've escaped. But this is Charles and Yvonne Jones, and I'm gonna just have them share just a little bit. It's been now, what was it, about at least 10 years ago, wasn't it? When
I think it might be 12, man. 12, around there.
Yeah, Charles had reached out to me on Facebook and said, hey, I saw you're going to be in California and you don't have anything on this Thursday and Friday. Would you consider coming over to my parents at that time, like small church, and spending time with us? I said, well, let's talk on the phone. And we talked on the phone, and I just knew right away. Sometimes someone will call me like, yeah, I don't know. But and then we've just been connected ever since. And then I think it was the next year is when you guys started dating, and then so now it's been about a dozen years or so. So whenever I go out there, I normally stay with them at their home. They let me use one of their cars, and I get to pet their dog Callie and be part of the family. But
she's accepted you.
Exactly, yeah. First year she wasn't too sure about me, but I love this young couple and believe in everything they're doing. And what we want to really discuss in this segment is kind of the kingdom of God in the marketplace, and how you don't have to just do, even though they're also involved in church ministry. Charles is a great teacher and preacher himself, but they're also so much involved in business and Hollywood and different things that I think it's good for us to hear that, first of all, there's actually people that love Jesus in those industries, and it's not all going to it's not all going to hell in a handbasket. There's actually godly people all over the world that aren't just preaching, teaching, and singing, which is what people think really most of the time seeking first the kingdom is. But we know, because we did a series on this, that it's so much bigger than that. And so, Charles, I'll start with you. Just kind of share a little bit about, what you're doing, a little bit of your background.
Yeah, we're both PKs, raised with both our parents pastoring, and I think it was right around maybe 2009, 2008-ish, around that time, that God really started to just reveal to me his love. Really the heart of the Father and grace and the goodness of God, and that's where it all started. And I felt like I was on an island for a very long time by myself. Yeah. And one day, man, met you and a couple other people, and it was like I found my family, found my home. Yeah. And so it was very easy when we had that conversation true. It was like, hey, man, you're a cousin from across.
That's right.
So it's been good, and Yvonne and I, we definitely have felt called to what we do. Being in church, I remember our first date, just listening to the passion that she had for, we say the marketplace, right? But I try not to Christian needs as
I know.
So Hollywood, we'll just say Hollywood and business and all the different things. And she said there, I want to have a production company. I'm like, wait, I have a production company. And we just linked. You could see God doing it from day one, and I'm so grateful. We're very different, but we're complementary.
Yeah.
Right, our gifts complement each other, and I'm so grateful for her.
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't that precious? That's just beautiful.
Also, I love that now we have it on record that first time was a date, because I always said it was, and he likes to say, no, we're just hanging out.
I was really just trying to make it easy.
And people are going to watch this like 500 years from now, so it's settled. It's sealed.
Settled. And definitely didn't have intentions to marry another pastor. That was a little gotcha from God.
Yeah.
But I think the reason was because as a pastor's kid, and I love my dad, who is a pastor, but you see, and I think just in our generation, pastorhood looked a certain way. It definitely didn't even look the way it looked with you, where you were traveling all over the place. But for us, it was one facility, and you arrive super early in the morning, you usually leave super late at night, multiple times in the week. And I had already invested a lot of time and money into getting my master's in acting, and felt he opened the door for me to get scholarships, to get my degrees, everything. So I knew I was in the will of God in my career, and I wasn't sure what that was going to look like, marrying a pastor. And actually, on that first date, I did tell you. If you're looking,
you had no desire to be a first lady.
I told him, if you're looking for that first lady, you know,
with the big pretty hats and
thanks for the frappuccino, but that's the end of this.
That's not happening.
Not happening. And he was aware of it, and he was fine with it. But God is so good in that He knows His kids.
Yes.
And you know, and I've always kind of left it open, to be honest. Like, way in the back of my mind, like, all right, but if that's what you know, as a good believer, if that's what you call me to, then you'll give me the grace for. But, and so actually, we ended up, we did go to church and, you know, have a church facility that we drove out to and everything. But his parents were senior pastors at the time, and then 2020 hit. And we went virtual, and we've remained virtual just because it works best for our congregation. But that allowed Chuck to join me when I booked thing in Canada, and we had to be there for 2 months because it was COVID, so they locked us down. And even here now, I'm out here filming, and God was so good that, of all places, I booked a film in Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville.
Louisville, yeah.
Like,
Sorry,
she's from
no one will be offended, but people from
California.
Louisville, so you're all right.
Yeah, so booked the film, and Chuck said, actually, the conference lands right in the middle of both of my shooting.
Yeah, because I mean, all of these years of being connected, you guys had not been able to come yet to one of our conferences, and so all these people you've been following online and even having conversations with, you finally getting to meet over this last couple of days, which is really fun. And then, like Chuck had said to me, he said, when I finally met your daughter, it was like, this is my little sister, and you know, it's like it's amazing how that happens. Now, just for a little context, because both not only ministry, but Chuck also does production and I mean, his own company, and does all kinds of online stuff for day trading. Yeah, I mean, he's into a little bit everything you can imagine, plus an amazing photographer. I mean, all that, which is awesome. I mean, just just being bivocational and having to do that. Yeah. But then also, you know, you also getting into acting, just so a few people might be able to say, you know what, I kind of maybe just mention a few things that like you've been in.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the one most people recognize me for, especially once I go into Atlanta, is Tyler Perry's Ruthless series. I was there. He was giving me my first series regular opportunity for a few years through 2020, which actually was a blessing. It was kind of, I definitely felt like Joseph in the land of famine, because we were everybody was shut down except for Mr. Perry. And so Ruthless from
And you played your character.
Tally.
Tally, that's right.
I love her.
Yeah, always getting beat. It's like,
well, unfortunately, she got a little shiner, but then the series only went like 1 hour at a time for 48 episodes.
And then the one that my oldest granddaughter loved was Sneakerella, which was kind of a Disney Plus. It was
more kid friendly.
Switch on Cinderella, where John Sally, which I'm a Piston, our bad boy. I know he was on the Lakers too, but sorry, he won championships with us Pistons.
I read Bulls.
Yeah, that was Bulls. There you go. That's right. And he was like the king, and then she played
his wife.
the queen, and then she's been in stuff also with Jennifer Lopez, and I mean just
on Netflix.
Yeah, a lot of cool opportunities.
God really just I feel like that was also something in growing up that you, like, for me, and I think for a lot of people, when they said God has a purpose for your life, it always felt like it was going to be, and it's going to be in you know, the jungles of Africa.
To Africa,
and you're going to be, you know, doing all these things, and it's nothing against that, but not everybody's called to Africa, you know. And so actually seeing God, because my relationship with God solidified right before I went to graduate school when I was in my 20s, because I definitely had to come to a place of finding what a relationship with Him looked like for myself. And I'm so grateful it happened right as my career was happening too, hand in hand, because I got to see that He is for us, and He is for that exceedingly abundantly life in whatever He's called you to and in your career. And that's what I've seen consistently, where we booked a film Sneakerella that made me the first Afro-Latina Disney queen, which was like, little
pretty
me.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we won an Emmy off of that. Then the next series I was in with Disney, the crossover, won an Emmy with that one. And then, like you said, Netflix, The Mother. First of all, Netflix, then Jennifer Lopez.
Hello.
And
That was
then
the biggest
That was
movie.
pretty cool.
it was
Yeah.
number one
2023.
movie in the world in 2023. So it's just seeing God's hand for what He's called me to do. And then also the challenges, because it is a career of acting. And so we had that strike, we had COVID, there was a lot of quiet
Feast or famine sometimes. It's like,
Easter famine, and so having Him carry us through that and be the kind of God that my dad always said, God can take it. So tell Him how you really feel.
Well, and I can't remember if I've ever even actually told you guys this, but I think it was like 1997 or 1998. I was preaching at a church in the Dallas area. Mm-hmm. And this lady in the church, the pastor told me afterwards, he said, no, listen, what she says, take it to the bank. Crazy prophetic. But she had a word for me that I was living at the time in northern Michigan. Okay. And the word was, you're going to have influence in Hollywood with actors. Wow. And I was like, I mean, I'm telling you, I didn't even put it on a shelf.
Yeah.
I threw it out. I mean, because I was like, I hadn't even preached in California yet. Didn't know anybody out there. I was like, nah. I said, that's not me. I'm from northern Michigan. I mean, which it just cracks me up to even think about it. And of course, I mean, influence you guys, of course, that introduced me to Danielle, and I mean, which we still correspond online here at times. And,
and you had some really great words for us in that season right before things started to kick off on my career, when kind of a dry season of us just really was driving Uber. I finally felt led to leave my day job, but that still meant doing something. And we were just trying to make it work, newly married, and I remember you had come into town, and I like to record our words, and so I have your word for us of a big door on a small hinge. Yeah. So it could just be something very small, but opens a huge door. Yeah. And that was for us. And one of the things I think that was for me is, I booked the role of Tally for 8 episodes, and that in itself was huge, but I didn't realize Mr. Perry was planning to do a whole series, which ended up with like 40-something episodes after that. And so it could apply to a lot of things, but there were certain words, and yours was definitely one of them that kept me on that road to where we are today.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, and then I know, Chuck, you train people online for trading and different stuff, but you also do courses and stuff, helping actors and helping people like in that whole arena. And I'm interested, I think everybody might be interested in your Instagram and that thing. Explain that if you don't mind.
I have a handle, Yvonne Prays for Actors, and slowly building it up where it's exactly what it says, where I just have an open, you can DM me and I'll pray for whatever it is you're going through. But I do feel like God is guiding me to have more social media content where I've already started where I will pray very specific prayers for actors. So we have specific things we go through where you have a Zoom callback today, or you didn't book the job, or you did book the job and now you're a little freaked out, and so I just want this area that actors can go to, and then eventually I know it'll be someplace that we can physically meet together and pray for one another and create this community. But even in my self-tape coaching, because I do that as well, where I help people with their auditions, I always pray before I go in that audition, because I just want the voice of the Lord to be what people hear and are encouraged by. And I feel like God's opened the door for a lot of education to get poured into me over these years and experience. And so I feel like God always lets me tap into different things, but ultimately just truly speak life into that person's gifting that I know God has put them in. And so
love that.
Yeah, for example, one of my girls just recently is my first first Broadway self-tape audition, and she got a call back, and she called me, and she was flying to New York. I got a call back for this huge production. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. And that one I really wasn't 100% sure, what are we gonna, and then once we got into that session, God just download, and it was awesome.
And the beautiful thing about the kingdom is you're not jealous of it.
No, it's not mine.
Instead, you're overjoyed because you're helping people fulfill
absolutely
the purpose. Because that's for years, and I've said this to a lot of preachers through the years. Jesus never one time gave us a vision. He gave us a mission.
Yeah.
You know, I think our vision is constantly transforming, but our mission stays the same.
Yeah.
Our mission is about making disciples of every ethnic group, of every nation, of every culture, whether it's Walmart, Hollywood, you know, the Lions Club. I mean, you know, whatever you're a part of is that we're there to be salt and be light and make a difference. But then the other thing that really also hit me is I remember years ago, I was in my office and I'm laying on the ground. I'd just been to like a John Maxwell like thing. And it's like, gotta have a vision. I'm laying on the floor in my office. God, what's my vision? Because I felt like I didn't have any vision. I'm like, is there something wrong with me? And the Holy Spirit whispered to me. He said, would you get up off the floor? He said, first of all, you've always done your vision. I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, as a fivefold ministry gift, the purpose for the fivefold ministry, according to Ephesians 4, is to equip the saints for the work of their ministry, is more what the Greek infers. And he said, so your vision is to help others find their vision.
Amen.
There you go.
And I said, maybe if we just all had that as our vision, rather than some grandiose type stuff, you know, maybe our vision should be helping others find theirs. And then the incredible joy that when you know, I mean, every time I see online, you know, you'll put online, hey, I just got this role. I'm always, man, so proud of you. That's so awesome. And we're going to be watching, you know, and I mean, she sent with Sneakerella, my granddaughter loves Sneakerella. And so I was at their house. And Yvonne sent like an autographed picture, and then sent a little thing that only people that were at the premiere had. So, I mean, she thought that was the cat's meow. So that was like a real big deal to her there. But also let's talk, because we were talking about this a little bit last night here at our home. You know, I know you guys have walked a deconstruction or reconstruction, kind of coming out of a lot of the fear-based, shame-based theology of the past, and you know, parents who were wonderful people and godly, but you were part of systems that produced that, and then coming into this amazing actual gospel that is life changing, and let me tell you, not only did they get it, Chuck's an incredible teacher of it, and he's got it down pat. And I've been after him. He needs to start putting more out there, and he's going to start doing that. And so, but just talk a little bit about like that journey with y'all, because I know a lot of our audiences, I mean, they're following me a lot of times because they're in that process right now.
Yeah. You know, I used to explain this way that, you know, very early, even before we had the WWJD bands, I used to have a rubber band on my wrist, seek ye first the kingdom of God, Matthew 6:33, and his righteousness. I tell everybody, I learned about the kingdom first, right? I learned a lot about the kingdom, and you say this oftentimes, you know, that a lot of times we learn about the kingdom, but we're operating as servants or slaves. But it wasn't until I learned about his righteousness. It was his righteousness, not like Paul said, not being found having my own righteousness, but his righteousness. And that shifted everything. All of a sudden, being able to see the kingdom through the lens of a son, and the family relationship, and our Father and Abba Father, and it just opened up the gates. And you know, coming from I would say a faith background, word of faith, you know, that it's always been by grace through faith. We'd hear people say that your faith made this happen, your faith made that happen, but God really just started. It's like, nah, it's his faith. It's his faith. It's his grace. It's all a gift. And I think that has just come alive in my heart. The necessity of just sharing the goodness of God, and it's important. Like it's important. We would have discussions early on in our marriage, and you know, we both had similar backgrounds. So grace kind of got me first. And so as we went and journeyed down the line, you know, I kind of drug her into this thing, but she loves it now.
Yeah, I know one of our biggest, we call it our passionate discussions, arguments, it was on worship songs, because there's a lot of worship songs that I really, being a worship leader, that I really loved. And he was
bad theology.
Yeah,
he's like, don't sing that.
To clarify, like, well, he's already here, so we don't need to like keep asking him to come. And I'm like, but it's romantic. Like, what's wrong with you?
And it rhymes.
So it was a little tricky at first, but I understood what he was saying. Like, God is, it's a once and for all situation, and he's already done it. There's a lot that he's already done. And then I think what really resounded for me is I will never leave you or forsake you, because I think that when you grow up in the church, and sometimes I believe it happens indirectly. I don't think it's our sweet parents who are like, hopefully they'll have this fear for the rest of their lives.
Right.
But I think in the mind of a child, you are constantly afraid of turning his back on you because of what you've done. And so I remember someone had on their shirt just recently, like, or maybe even like a sign that they were on the side, which I thought was beautiful. Usually you have different signs that are like, you're going to hell. Have a good day.
Right. Yeah, have a good day.
But it was, I will never leave you. And I can't think of how they said forsake, but it was in a very modern tone. Yeah. I think that's what I'm not going to leave you or abandon you. Yeah. I think that was it. And it registered even deeper for me. He's not going anywhere.
Well, I think a lot of us were raised, we were raised eternally insecure. And so, and then of course, most of us were taught that, Jesus, the Father forsook Jesus on the cross. And even though I believe that maybe for a moment in his humanity, he felt forsaken, even though we know he never was, because if he would forsake our big brother, how can we trust he won't throw us to the curb, And so I think rather than really stepping up and maturing into sonship, there's that fear that's constantly there. I remember several years ago, my daughter Brittany, she was about, 14, and we visited my in-laws in the Chicago area. And it was Christmas Eve, and she hadn't gotten a gift yet for her mom. So we go to a store, and on the way back, we drive by this church, and it had a sign out front. And the sign, such and such, Baptist Church, we preach the Word of God, the 1611 King James Version. They had to make sure. But on the sign, it literally, like, my daughter made me turn around and take a picture so she could put it online, because the sign said this: Jesus is coming real soon. Boy, is he mad. And then it said, come meet him Sunday morning at 10 a.m. It's like, now who's going to show up to meet the ticked off dude? The sad part about it, though, is right, exactly. But that's where a lot of people's, theology started from. And rather than growing as secure sons that are in union with the Father, that know he's always been there. He's never forsaken us. We forsake him, but he never walks away from us. It's a game changer in your walking as a son or a daughter, in not just in ministry life, but in life, period.
Right.
And so there's a confidence that comes with that.
For me, when I began my walk back with God and my focus with him, it was so comforting to recognize the times in those years of me distancing myself from God and not focusing on him. It brought us even closer together. I would say for me to be able to see his hand, that there were so many times that even though I had my back to him, there was grace there, that he was covering me, that it could have been so much worse, that all these things. And so it's just beautiful to look at in a retrospective way, and then secures you for the continuation of your relationship with him. Yeah, absolutely. I think it has made me a better husband. Like, we've had discussions about just some of the things that you shared with me, things you had to learn along the way. By the time I came into this relationship, I already had these lessons of grace and how to. I think our relationship has healed things in both of us by the way that we love each other and the grace that we're able. So I'm just glad to not be in this place where we're continuing, as we talked about, that man-made religion, amendments, those cycles that we create that keep people bound and bind to religion and fear and all the different things. So I'm so grateful for this season. Definitely need grace in marriage.
Well, it was interesting because we and I don't know when this program will show, but I just did one a little bit ago on this same day with Martijn van Tilburg originally from Holland, and he made the statement, and that I know you were in here listening to it, but he said, I ask leaders all the time, where Jesus said, this is why I was born and this is why I'm here. He said, I ask them all the time, do you have a definition for that? And I mean, he didn't ask me, but I almost blurted it out. I'm like, it's literally like the tagline of Grace for All. It's removing fear, revealing the Father. I mean, it's that heart of people walking then in freedom. It's like everywhere I go. I mean, I don't do what I do because it's my job. I mean, it's addicting when I'm preaching the beauty of the gospel and I see a light bulb go on and fear leaves somebody.
Yes, sir.
And they walk up to me afterwards and they said, I've literally had a hard time sleeping most of my life because I was afraid of that. And you just explained it in a way that I don't have to be afraid of. I mean, it's like you don't need therapy anymore. I mean, to me, there's incredible life in that. And, and when you find that, when you know that, what, I was put here,
yes.
To act.
Yes.
Yes. I was put here to be a blessing to others and then help and teach others. And everything we do in life and ministry, that's always a beautiful thing. And
yes, sir.
Well, listen, guys, man, thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. Like I said, this is my first time actually interviewing a couple, which is very cool. And I just want you both to know, and listen, we love you. We believe in you. Are thrilled with everything God's doing. You're excited for what God's still got in the future. And I'm glad we've had just at least a little part of that, in your lives, which has been just fun. And thank you for doing this with us. So
thank you.
Thank you. Bless you, everybody. Just want to remind you again, thank you so much for tuning in. Tune in for our next programs. And if you haven't watched any in the past, you can go back on YouTube. And man, we've got all kinds of programs on there with stuff that'll be a great blessing to you. But especially remember, regardless of anything you've ever done or anything you may ever do, God through Christ gives grace for all. God bless.
Thank you for watching Grace for All with Jamie Engelhardt. We have many resources to help you in your journey of grace, including e-courses, audio teaching, and more. If our ministry has blessed you, we ask that you consider a financial gift to help us continue spreading the gospel around the globe. Giving is easy and completely secure at www.graceforall.tv. Thank you for tuning in today, and remember that regardless of what you've done or what you may ever do, God through Christ gives grace for all.